Close your eyes and travel back to September 1st, 1666. London, the largest city in England. Over 300,000 people packed into narrow streets and wooden houses. It hasn't rained in months. The summer has been the driest anyone can remember. Everything is tinder dry. The timber houses, the thatched roofs, even the air feels like it could ignite. This is the story of how one small fire in a bakery became an inferno that consumed a city. A story told through the eyes of those who lived it, who fought it, who survived it. Sunday, September 2nd, the beginning. 1 o'clock in the morning, Pudding Lane, a narrow street near London Bridge. Most of the city sleeps. Thomas Farriner, the king's baker, wakes to the smell of smoke. He lives above his bakery with his daughter Hannah and his servants. The bakery is on the ground floor, their bedrooms upstairs. Something is wrong. The smell is too strong. He gets up, opens the bedroom door. Smoke pours in, thick, black, choking. "Fire!" he screams. "Hannah, get up! Fire!" Downstairs, his bakery is an inferno. The ovens. He always checks the ovens before bed, always. But tonight, somehow, an ember remained, a single glowing coal. It fell onto wood shavings on the floor. Hours passed. The ember smoldered, grew, found more fuel, wooden shelves, sacks of flour, the timber walls themselves. By the time Thomas wakes, half the ground floor is ablaze. He grabs Hannah, his two servants. They run to the upstairs window. The stairs are blocked by flames. They can't go down. They climb out the window, onto the roof. The tiles are hot under their feet. Smoke billows around them. The houses on Pudding Lane are built close together, so close you can reach out your window and shake hands with your neighbor. This is medieval London. Houses lean toward each other over narrow streets. Some streets are so narrow 2 people can barely walk side by side. Thomas and his family climb across the rooftops, from his roof to the neighbor's, then to the next, moving away from the flames. They make it to safety, barely. Behind them, the bakery collapses. Flames shoot into the night sky. Sparks fly on the wind. And the wind is blowing, strong from the east, pushing the fire west toward the heart of London. The first hours. By 2 in the morning, 6 houses are burning. The flames jump from roof to roof, timber to timber, thatch to thatch. People wake to screaming, to the smell of smoke, to the sound of crackling flames. They run into the streets, confused, terrified, carrying what they can. Children, valuables, nothing else matters. The Lord Mayor of London, Sir Thomas Bloodworth, is woken and brought to Pudding Lane. He's an old man, tired, irritated at being disturbed. He looks at the fire. 6 houses, maybe 8 by now. He's seen fires before. London has fires all the time. Timber houses, open flames for cooking and heating. Fires are common. "Pish," he says dismissively. "A woman might piss it out." He goes back to bed. This is the decision that will doom London. If he had acted immediately, called out the fire brigades, ordered houses demolished to create fire breaks, the fire might have been stopped. Instead, he goes to sleep, and the fire grows. Sunday morning. By dawn, 300 houses are burning. The entire street, Fish Street Hill, part of London Bridge. London Bridge is covered with houses and shops. It's not just a bridge, it's a street on a bridge. Buildings 4 and 5 stories tall. Hundreds of people live on the bridge itself. The southern end catches fire. People flee north into the city. They carry what they can. Push carts, drag trunks, children crying, elderly struggling. The fire follows them. Samuel Pepys, a naval administrator and famous diarist, wakes to the news. He climbs to the Tower of London to get a better view. What he sees horrifies him.
an arc of flame stretching along the riverfront, smoke rising in black columns, the wind pushing it all west toward the wealthy parts of the city, toward the heart of London. Pepys understands what the Lord Mayor doesn't. This isn't a normal fire. This is a catastrophe in motion. He takes a boat to Whitehall Palace, demands an audience with King Charles II. The king is in residence. Pepys is brought before him. "Your Majesty," Pepys says urgently, "the fire is spreading rapidly. The Lord Mayor does nothing. You must intervene." The king listens. He's a young king, only 36. He took the throne just 6 years ago after years of civil war and chaos. He's learned to act decisively. "What do we need?" the king asks. "Fire breaks, Your Majesty. We must demolish houses, create gaps the fire cannot cross, but it requires authority. The Lord Mayor will not order it." The king makes his decision. "I give the order. Demolish whatever is necessary. I'll send my brother, the Duke of York, to oversee it. Do whatever must be done." But it's already too late. The fire has too much of a head start.
Sunday afternoon. By noon, the fire is a monster, a living thing. It roars, it breathes, it consumes everything in its path. The heat is unbelievable. People describe standing 100 yards from the fire and feeling their skin blister. The flames create their own wind. Superheated air rises. Cool air rushes in to replace it. This wind feeds the fire more oxygen, makes it burn hotter, faster. Buildings don't just burn, they explode. The heat is so intense that wooden beams burst into flame before the fire even reaches them. Entire houses ignite simultaneously. One moment standing, the next moment an inferno. The streets are chaos. Thousands of people fleeing, carts overturned, possessions abandoned, everyone trying to get away from the advancing flames. Some people try to fight it. Bucket brigades form, lines of people passing buckets of water from the Thames River to the fire, but it's useless, like spitting on a bonfire. The fire is too big, too hot, too fast. The only real defense is fire breaks, demolishing houses to create gaps. But demolition is slow and controversial. Homeowners refuse. "That's my house, my business. You can't destroy it." "The fire will destroy it anyway," officials argue. "But what if it doesn't? What if the fire turns? Then I've lost everything for nothing." Legal arguments, property rights. While they argue, the fire advances. The Duke of York, the king's brother, takes charge. He's a military man, used to command. He stops asking permission, starts giving orders. "Demolish that row of houses, now." "But sir, the owners." "Are not here. Demolish them." Teams of men with hooks and ropes pull down buildings. Firefighting hooks, long poles with metal hooks on the end, used to pull down burning timbers, now used to demolish whole houses. It's exhausting work, dangerous. The fire is close, heat radiating. Smoke choking. Men work until they collapse, then others take their place. Sunday night. As darkness falls, London looks like hell. Miles of flames. The sky glows orange. Smoke blots out the stars. The heat is visible, waves of distortion in the air. People flee in all directions, north, west, east, away from the fire. Carrying children, dragging elderly parents, possessions piled on carts, valuables clutched in arms. Some people bury their treasures, dig holes in gardens, hide wine, cheese, important documents, hoping to come back later and reclaim them. Samuel Pepys does this. He digs a hole in his garden and buries his wine and a valuable Parmesan cheese. His diary entry for this day is famous. He's more worried about his cheese than almost anything else. The Thames River is packed with boats, thousands of them, people paying whatever they can to escape by water. Boat owners charge outrageous prices, £5 for a trip that normally costs 6 pence. People pay it, they have no choice.
The riverbanks are lined with refugees, sitting on their possessions, watching their city burn. Nowhere to go, no family outside London, no money for lodging, even if they could find it. They just sit and watch and wait.
Monday, September 3rd, the Inferno. The second day is worse, much worse. The fire has spread in all directions, north up into the residential areas, west toward the wealthy districts. The Guildhall, where the city government meets, catches fire. The Guildhall is massive, stone and timber, ancient, the center of London's government for centuries. Surely stone won't burn. But the timber roof burns, the floors burn, the heat is so intense that the lead roof melts. Molten lead pours down like rain, pools in the streets, solidifies into strange, silvery shapes. St. Paul's Cathedral stands in the path of the fire, one of the largest cathedrals in Europe. Massive stone structure, Gothic architecture. Surely it's safe. People think so. They bring their possessions there for safety. Books, documents, valuables. The cathedral becomes a warehouse, stacks of goods piled in every corner. The booksellers from nearby Paternoster Row bring their entire stock, thousands of books, centuries of knowledge, packed into the cathedral for safety. Stone doesn't burn, they reason. The cathedral has stood for 600 years. It will stand through this. They're wrong. The fall of St. Paul's. By Monday afternoon, the fire reaches St. Paul's. The scaffolding around the cathedral catches first. It's being renovated. Wooden scaffolding covers much of the exterior. The scaffolding burns like a torch. Flames climb up the sides of the cathedral, reach the roof. The lead is roof, but underneath, timber beams support the lead. Ancient oak beams, 600 years old, dry as bone. The timber catches fire. The lead roof melts. Molten lead pours down the sides of the cathedral. Inside, the heat becomes unbearable. The books ignite, thousands of them. All that knowledge, all those words, up in flames. The stone walls hold, but inside, everything burns. The wooden choir stalls, the altar, everything. The heat is so intense that the stones themselves crack, explode, flying debris like bombs, chunks of stone the size of a man's head shooting through the air. People watching from a safe distance describe it as the most terrible thing they've ever seen. The cathedral, a symbol of London for centuries, being consumed. One observer writes, "The stones of St. Paul's flew like grenades, the melting lead running down the streets in a stream, the very pavements glowing with a fiery redness, no horse or man able to tread on them." Monday night, 80% of the city within the walls is burning, the medieval heart of London. 13,000 houses, 87 churches, the Guildhall, St. Paul's Cathedral, all burning. The king himself is in the streets, King Charles II, with his brother working alongside common men, passing buckets, organizing demolition, a king covered in soot and sweat. This is unprecedented. Kings don't fight fires. Kings stay in palaces. But Charles is different. He remembers the Civil War, remembers his father being executed, remembers fleeing for his life. He knows his throne depends on his people. If London burns, his kingdom burns, so he fights. The Duke of York organizes firefighting posts, 8 of them at strategic locations, each manned by soldiers and volunteers, each with a nobleman in charge, parish constables, 30 soldiers at each post. They demolish buildings all night, trying to get ahead of the fire, trying to create gaps it can't cross. It's brutal work. Men work in shifts, 30 minutes on, 30 minutes rest, then back to work. No one sleeps, no one stops.
The fire is so hot now that it creates its own weather. Witnesses describe fire tornadoes, whirling columns of flame and smoke, rising hundreds of feet into the air, sucking up debris, burning embers falling miles away, starting new fires. Tuesday, September 4th, the turning point. The third day. The fire has consumed most of the city, but it's running out of fuel, and the wind is finally changing. For 3 days, the wind blew from the east, steady, strong, pushing the fire west. But Tuesday morning, the wind shifts, weakens, changes direction. The fire breaks start working, gaps the Duke of York's teams created. The fire reaches them, finds nothing to burn, stops. Not everywhere. In some places it still advances, but slower, less aggressively. The king orders gunpowder to be used, blow up houses, create instant fire breaks. It's risky, explosions near fire, but it works. Buildings demolished in seconds instead of hours. Gaps open, the fire encounters them, turns back on itself, starts consuming buildings that are already burning, finding less and less fresh fuel. By Tuesday afternoon, the fire is contained in most areas, not extinguished, still burning, but no longer spreading. Exhausted men collapse where they stand, 4 days without sleep, covered in soot and burns, hands blistered, lungs damaged from smoke inhalation. But they've done it. They've stopped the fire. Wednesday, September 5th, the aftermath. The fire finally dies, 4 days after it started. Embers still glow in places, smoke still rises, but the flames are out. People emerge from wherever they sheltered, return to see what remains. Nothing. That's what remains. Nothing. 13,000 houses, gone. 87 churches, gone. St. Paul's Cathedral, the Guildhall, the Royal Exchange, all gone. The area within the old city walls is just ash and rubble, stone walls standing alone, chimneys rising from piles of debris, melted lead in the streets, still warm to the touch. 436 acres burned. The entire city gone. Miraculously, only 6 deaths are officially recorded. 6 out of 300,000 people. How is that possible? Several reasons. The fire moved slowly enough that people could flee. It burned primarily buildings, not people. Most deaths were probably not recorded. Poor people, homeless, no one to report them missing. But still, 6 confirmed deaths in a disaster this massive. It's remarkable. The homeless. 100,000 people are homeless, 1/3 of the city's population. Nowhere to live. Many lost everything, their homes, their businesses, their possessions. Refugee camps spring up in the fields outside the city. More fields, Islington, St. Giles, thousands of tents, makeshift shelters, people living in the open. King Charles tours the camps, brings food, money, promises help. "You will not starve," he tells them. "You will be housed. London will be rebuilt." Parliament meets in emergency session, votes funds for relief, for rebuilding. The king donates his own money. Nobles contribute. The process of recovery begins. Rebuilding. London rises from the ashes. Not immediately. It takes years, decades, but it rises. The rebuilding is better than before. Christopher Wren, the great architect, designs a new St. Paul's Cathedral, the one that stands today, with its famous dome, more beautiful than the medieval cathedral that burned. New building codes, no more timber houses, only brick and stone. Streets widened, better fire safety. The London that emerges is safer, cleaner, more modern. The medieval city is gone, replaced by something new. Was the fire a blessing in disguise? Some argue yes. The crowded, filthy medieval city was gone. The plague, which killed 100,000 people just the year before, never returned. Some say the fire cleansed the city. But try telling that to the 100,000 who lost everything, to Thomas Fariner, the baker, who blamed himself for the rest of his life, to the families who lost homes and businesses. The memorial. In 1677, 11 years after the fire, a monument was erected, the Monument. It still stands today, near where the fire started, on Pudding Lane. A stone column, 202 feet tall, the exact distance from its base to the bakery where the fire began. At the top, a golden urn, flames carved in stone, reaching toward the sky, a reminder, a warning. The inscription reads, "In the year of Christ, 1666, on September 2nd, at a distance eastward of this place of 202 feet, which is the height of this column, a terrible fire broke out, which, driven by high winds, not only wasted the adjacent parts, but also places very remote, with incredible noise and fury."
Sleep peacefully. Close your eyes. Imagine not the heat and chaos, but cool darkness. Calm. The Great Fire of London was a disaster. 4 days of terror, a city consumed. But it was also a story of resilience. People fled, but they returned. They rebuilt. They continued. Thomas Fariner lived the rest of his life knowing his bakery started the fire. But he also lived to see London rise again, better than before. King Charles, who could have fled to safety, stayed and fought alongside his people, earned their loyalty, strengthened his kingdom. The 100,000 who lost their homes found new ones. The city that burned was rebuilt, stronger, safer, more beautiful. From disaster came renewal. From destruction came creation. From ashes came a new London. That's the human story. We endure, we rebuild, we continue. Fire can destroy buildings, but it can't destroy the human spirit, the will to survive, to come back, to build something better. Breathe slowly, deeply. Rest. You are safe. Your city is whole. The world continues. And tomorrow, when you wake, remember this: every disaster eventually ends. Every fire eventually burns out. Every dark night eventually gives way to dawn. And people always rebuild. Good night.